So, so here we are with today's class. So we have a photo of a guy here, a very important man in a country in the Middle East. So you guys, do you know what country this man on the screen comes from? Can you guess? I think you just, if you looked at the last screen before we started recording, you know what the answer is. Do you know what it is? What country he comes from? Work it out, maybe.
From Emirates, from Saudi
Ah,
Arabia.
that's right. Yes, that's right. So he's from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia. You mentioned the Emirates. I think the name of his country, you could call it an emirate, but I think emirate basically means kingdom, doesn't it? I think it does. I don't speak Arabic, but I think Emirates basically means kingdom. I could be wrong, so if you know that I'm wrong, do correct me, please. I don't want to say stuff that's totally rubbish. Um, and I think originally his country may have had a slightly different name. At the moment, I think it's actually the Kingdom of the Saudi Arabia. I think it is. But who is he? Any idea? You don't know, I guess.
This sort of president, like a king or
Yeah,
king.
king. Yeah, good guess. You've got it. He's the king. That's better. So this
uh,
is. Let's go over to the article and read it. That's the simplest thing to do, isn't it? Here we go. So this is on the BBC in-depth website. The global affairs correspondent or the journalist who's written this article is Sebastian Usher. Sebastian Usher, and it was all back at the end of last couple of weeks ago, end of May. So let me read a little bit to you. So, how Saudi Arabia's spending spree reached the end of the line. And so, when they say line, that's a bit of a joke. Once you read the article, hopefully you will realize why that's a joke. So, when someone says spending spree, what is a spending spree? You guys
it's
know?
like
It's like what, sorry?
outcome. It's your
Hmm.
opposite income. So you spend money
Yeah,
for no, in
yeah,
this context, I think it's about
yeah.
money.
So, yes, spending is spending, isn't it? So when we say spending spree, I suppose it's maybe an example might be something like if I won the lottery or someone won the lottery and won £10,000 or dollars or something, I might then go out and buy a car, a new coat because my one's leaking, and I might then buy I don't know, I might go out to to a restaurant and doing all of those things you could call a spending spree. So it's buying one thing after another for some particular reason. Maybe it's payday and it happens every month, maybe, or maybe you've won some money, something like that. So a spending spree is buying one thing, buying a whole bunch of things at the same time. Normally because you suddenly have the money. And I'll explain the joke here. When it says the end of the line, because Saudi Arabia was building a structure and it was sometimes called the line, but they've cancelled it now. They've stopped building it. So that's why they say the end of the line. The end of the line. Because this thing called the line has now been ended. And the other thing is that sometimes we talk about as a phrase in itself, or perhaps an idiom, maybe even slight to some degree, we sometimes say, oh, it's the end of the line. And that means that some big project has stopped, something like that. Or you could also say when you're on London's Underground or any tube or any train, you could say, "Oh, this is the end of the line," in the sense that you've come to the final station on that train line. That's what we sometimes say. So there's lots of few different ideas playing around. That's quite cleverly written, that title. Let's scroll on then. So, Michael, you read first. You fancy reading first? Is that okay?
Yeah,
So a
okay.
little to do with oil, but not much. It's mainly to do about this building thing I just mentioned. So over to you. Thank you, Michael.
Autocratic monarchs once left an echo of their glory in the ruins of the mega project they commanded at the peak of their un- unchallenged power. Those monumental physical traces are to be found in the fertile plains, mountainsides, and deserts of the Middle East. But one of their most prominent modern counterparts may only have a digital footprint to leave behind for some of his most ambitious concepts.
Mm,
A decade ago, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, as he is widely known, decreed a revisioning of his country that leaped from the realm of science fiction. It was called Vision 2030. Extraordinary monolithic structures were to help bring forth new technological marvels, not just for the kingdom, but for the world. Those ideas were made manifest in lavish PR material, conjuring up fantastical landscapes that attached reams of coverage that mindless awe and derision. It was made possible by the near $1 trillion or 745 billion pounds sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia, PIF, whose riches, so dependent on oil, were to be used to create the foundation for a future without oil.
mm. Fantastic. Very good reading, as always. So, anything you want to ask about there? And of course, you were just reading something about oil,
I,
about the
I lost
UAE, weren't you? So this fits in quite well.
I lost the idea of this text in the middle. Uh,
So, so that again, I'm a bit lost there. I missed what you were getting at.
I lost the trace.
Oh, you
I lost
lost the meaning
the
of it. Okay.
meaning of the text.
Yeah.
Uh,
There comes a point when you have to concentrate on what you're saying rather than the meaning of it. I know what you're saying. Okay, let me read this bit in the middle to you. Well, maybe I'll read this middle bit again to you and the last part maybe. So, a decade ago, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS as he is known, decreed a revisioning of his country that leapt from the realms of science fiction. It was called Vision 2030. Extraordinary monolithic structures were to help bring forth new technological marvels, not just for the kingdom, but for the world. So these were marvels, not just for one country, but they would be a marvel for the whole world. So yeah, I think that's probably true. And the last one is so those ideas were made manifest in large PR material, conjuring up fantastical landscapes that attracted reams of coverage that mingled awe and derision. It was made possible by the near $1 trillion sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia, whose riches, so dependent on oil, were to be used to create the foundation for a future without oil. Yeah, I thought it was good reading actually when you did. And bits of it, I think the way you read it were better. I really liked how you said this bit here. You said that you almost put like a comma after it and read that in a slightly different voice. It was very good. That's exactly how it should be read, I would say. So, anything you want to ask about that little bit there that you've read? Any new words for you? Or
yeah, a lot of
oh,
work.
okay, ways of
So,
using it. Yeah,
so the Prince of Saudi Arabia decided to create
mm.
something,
That's right. Yeah, a huge building, basically. Yeah.
decreed a revisioning of his country that leapt from the realm of science fiction. So I don't know what decreed.
So, so when you make a law, it's called a law, isn't it? And in this country, it starts out as a bill. So it's like a suggestion of a law. The people vote on it, and then it becomes a law. But often when you talk about a monarch or someone who is perhaps like an autocrat, perhaps like someone like Putin or something, or someone like that, they might make a decree and say, I decree that this is now to be done. And that is their way of making a
Ah,
law, effectively. Kind of. That's my understanding of the word.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, and revisioning. So, a new way of looking at something, or a new way, a new look of a country, perhaps, or a new way of looking at a problem or anything really. You might revision your life. In this case, it's the country, or and they're saying that this vision came almost out of the realms of science fiction.
So is
So
another universe, is another
yeah, pretty
realm.
much. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it's
Another, yeah,
fantastic
like,
world.
yeah, almost. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, fantastical. So it said fantastical down here, didn't it? Yeah. So if something's fantastic, it's absolutely brilliant. It's marvelous. It's something fantastic. But you put the AL on the end, and really much changes the meaning of the word almost completely, really. If it's fantastical, it's sort of slightly unbelievable, magical, maybe imaginary, perhaps even. But take the AL off, just down to fantastic. Fantastic means it's brilliant. That's marvelous. That's great. Strange, isn't it? So, any other words though?
The last paragraph.
Hmm.
Those ideas were made manifest in lavish PR material,
Yeah.
conjuring. Conjuring,
Hmm.
it's like connecting, conjunction, conjuring,
I don't really know
conjecture.
where it comes from, really. But so conjuring, so it's pronounced. This is something to do with, again, it's to do with the fantastical, really, and maybe even science fiction. So, there are people called magicians, and they might produce a bunch of flowers out of nowhere, or a bird or a dove from out of their coat. So that's a magical trick. And you would say that he was a conjurer. He is another word for it is conjurer. And if you're doing magic, you can say I am conjuring, or you are conjuring. So to produce something unbelievable, something fantastic almost, is conjuring. And then the next word is fantastical, isn't it? So it's almost like you could put the word magic in there, maybe. What about PR? What's PR again? I think you sort of said it as if you knew what it meant. What's PR?
It's like I know. I mean, it's like PR management, PR,
Yes. Yes,
uh,
exactly. Yeah.
to attract press release,
Yes.
maybe press release or PR. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be press release, yes. Lavish press release material. But often normally stands for
Public
public.
relations.
Yeah, you got
Yes,
it. Well done. That's what I would say. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But it could be either, really. You said, yeah, it could be a press release. But in this case, it sounds like public relations. That's it. That's it. And lavish, what does lavish mean? I think you probably know, I'm sure.
it's I don't know, generous. It's synonym to lavish. Generous.
Generous. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So lots of PR material. When I think of lavish, I also think of good quality as well. Maybe I'm wrong though, so maybe we should check that word, lavish, but we'll leave it for the moment. And what about manifest? What does that mean? So those ideas were made manifest in lavish PR material contracts. What does manifest mean?
I don't know. Manifest. My language, no. Manifest. It's the meaning, some sort of decreed when
Yeah,
decided that uh,
yeah. Yeah.
decided that something uh, will have some concept
Yes.
and approve this legally. Oh, I don't know.
So yeah, manifest. You've basically got it, I would say. So I would say manifest is to make known, to make it clear, to make it absolutely clear. Manifest, or to you could also say to create is to manifest as well, I suppose. So back to lavish though. So if it describes something as lavish, you mean it is very elaborate and impressive, and a lot of money has been spent on it. Yeah, so it could be quality, and I suppose quantity too, quality and quantity. So they say grand, magnificent, splendid, lush. Lush also means green, doesn't it? So strange. These words all sort of mix together after one point, don't they? So yeah, make manifest. To make clear, make it plain, bring into existence, perhaps even. Okay. So what about
But
these? Yeah, go on.
landscape and attracted reams of
Hmm.
coverage that mingle, mingled awe and derision.
Yeah.
So
So
fantastic landscape that attracted, it's understandable. Reams of coverage that mingle awe and derision. Oh. It's like awesome, something so
yes,
exciting.
yeah, yeah, that's it. So you
But I
you
know
they could almost put the word awesome in here, but not really. So it's this is the start of the word awesome, isn't it? So that is pronounced as awe. That is pronounced as
oh,
awe. And it doesn't look it, does it? I know, but it is awe. It's the same. You couldn't really tell the difference between that and the word O-R, awe. Okay. So awe is something it's so wonderful and fantastic. You sort of your mouth drops open in wonder when you see it. Okay, that sort of a feeling. And mingled is sort of blending. If you mingle two things together, you're blending them together, maybe. And so the two things being blended together here is awe, the wonder of something, and the other thing's been mingled together is derision. So these two things are mixed or mingled together. So what's derision now? What's derision? Any idea?
no, no, I have idea.
Oh, so it's basically mocking. It's basically mocking. I would say mocking it. So making fun of it or sort of disbelief. So there's wonder and excitement and wowness, and also, oh, this is ridiculous. This is laughable. This is silly. So there's two things being blended together. They're producing this idea of this new structure that the king wants to build, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, and some people think it's wonderful, and some people think it's laughable. So derision is sort of something that's laughable, you might say. Okay. What about reams? What does reams mean?
I don't know, rims. It's like I don't know, edge of something. Rims, edge of the.
Uh, I don't think so. I'm trying to think. That's one. I don't think that one is strangely, but so a ream. There's lots of a few different meanings here, but probably here it means just lots,
Yes,
lots and lots of coverage,
yeah.
lots of coverage. But but also mention the line above. It talks about PR material. So the material sort of sounds like it might actually be sheets of paper with photographs of what they want to build. And if you've got lots and lots of bits of paper, when you get to a certain number, I don't know what the number is. Let's say it's 120 sheets. I think that's called a ream of paper. So 120 sheets, I think let's quickly look that up. So I keep saying things and what I think is the case. So
Mm-hmm. And ream of paper. Yeah, it's
yeah, so It doesn't seem to actually mention the number, but yeah, it just says large amounts of paper. Oh, it's actually 516 sheets. I don't know where. Oh, it wasn't. It's now. Oh, I don't. Well, so it's gone from 500 to it was 516. Yes. Oh, yeah, or even 20 choirs. Okay. I think that's what I'm thinking. 120. So yeah, so it's just piles of paper basically. So that's probably why they use the word reams. There's a double meaning in there. That was brilliantly well read. So maybe it might be worthwhile saying that word again, I think there. So sovereign, sovereign.
Sovereign, sovereign, sovereign.
So I can really hear your when you're saying it. Sovereign, sovereign. But we it's not really. I suppose that sound is in there just about, I would say, but it's much quieter. So if I say it again, sovereign, sovereign. I'm saying it like you are. So sovereign, sovereign. So maybe you're saying it a little bit too heavy and a little bit too long.
Sovereign,
Yeah.
sovereign,
Okay, I think you're getting it, but yeah, it's just a little bit heavy there. But yeah, you've got the idea on the whole, I think. So do you want to say derision as well? Just derision,
derision,
and maybe
derision.
awe as well. So awe,
Oh, and
awe.
derision.
Yeah, that's it. How about mingled as well too? I think mingled.
Mingled, mingled,
Yeah,
mingled,
that's it. That's
mingled,
good.
mingled. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just do those three words there. Four words, I should say. So, material conjuring up fantastical landscapes. That one, maybe. Material conjuring.
Material conjuring up fantastical landscapes.
Yeah, your conjuring is perfect. That's brilliant. Well done. And I think, where was it? So, so it was I think it was the word, it's the word known somewhere. So if I type it up, maybe. So if I type it here, so we were talking about sunscreen, look, weren't we? So I think there's this problem about that's no, that word on current on screen now, no. But I put an N on the end. So it goes from no to known, known. And those two words are slightly tricky, I think. Do you want to just do both of them? So no and known. Those two words there.
No, known,
Yeah, yeah.
no, known.
Yeah, I think that's it, really. You've got it. Yeah, that's it. So it's just a matter of remembering it, I suppose, really. Tricky. And maybe also revision. I can't say it. So it's got the word vision in the middle. So this is revisioning. I'm going to practice that a little bit.
Revisioning, revisioning.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it, really. Yeah, I think that was all I really noticed, to be honest. It is a bit of it doesn't get a great deal of use, this word revisioning, but it's good to know, I suppose. Revisioning. It tripped me up as well. Um, and I think PIF stands for Public Investment Fund. That's right. Yeah, public. So all of the money that the Saudi Arabia makes, a lot of it gets spent on from day-to-day expenses, but a certain proportion of it is stored, put to one side and stored for investing in what they call here the Public Investment Fund. And I think the idea is that in so many years' time, when the oil does run out, there's still some benefit left over from that oil in this PIF or Public Investment Fund. So, Ruslan, do you have anything you want to ask about here? Sort of before we move on, because I think Michael's had a good go at this one. He's done very well. Anything here, Ruslan?
Not really, thanks. No, yeah,
Mm.
it's a bit complicated for me. Yeah, I
Oh, is it
just,
okay?
I
Yeah,
just looking for the new words. Yeah,
yeah, okay.
not really at the meaning of it. Yeah,
Mm. Do you fancy just doing this one word here, maybe, or two words here? So unchallenged power. So if someone's challenging you, it's someone who's sort of against you and perhaps wants something from you. So, but this in this case is unchallenged. So, do you want to say those couple of words together there, just for practice? So,
Uh,
unchallenged power.
unchallenged power.
Perfect. Perfect. So, when I say challenge, that makes sense too. The word challenge or challenged.
Yeah, it's like something challenging for you.
Yeah, something's difficult. That's true. Yeah. It might also be that when there's a king, in a sense, or a leader, there's always someone who wants to take the power from them, almost always. But and you might say that person who wants to take the power away is a challenger, a challenger. So Putin must have challengers, but he kills them off, doesn't he? Um, okay, I seem to be obsessed with Putin. So let's scroll on then. Here we go. So this got NEOM down in the bottom corner, and I don't know if this is. I think this is computer generated image of what they think the building was going to look like. And this is just a very, very small part of it. I think this must be the bit at the start where the sea is. So that was a building they were going to build in Saudi Arabia. Or they might have built this little bit here. I don't know. Let's scroll on. Oh, so Saudi has taken on mammoth building projects, such as this one called Gidori, as part of its regeneration drive. So it doesn't necessarily say it's been built, but they're talking about they've taken it on. So when you've taken it on, it means like that they've started it, but has it been finished? I don't know. So do you fancy reading this little bit here? So
Yeah, okay.
okay,
4 years from 2030, there has now been perhaps predictably, uh, a retrenchment. Part of that is down to financial imperatives, as a big fall in oil prices before the current war in the Middle East meant that even Saudi Arabians' extraordinary wealth took a hit. Even though these prices have now shot up because of the war, the uncertainty created by the conflict will continue to put constraints on Saudi revenue, revenue and spending, and in the influx of foreign investment in these hyper-expensive visionary projects has never materialized to the degree on which the Saudis had been banking. But is it a recalibration or a retreat?
okay, okay. I'll hold you there.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really good. Well done. You,
Um,
I thought you loved how you kept going, and there's a number of words that I thought would trip you up. You did fantastic. So, any
mm,
words you want to go back over? Oh, you this one here, you got that. That was a bit out. We'll have to do this one again. We'll have to recalibrate this one. So, anything else?
mm, okay. It's like predictably, it's like predict, yeah?
Or,
Predict,
which
first,
word? Well, this word down here, you mean?
not really, it's first sentences.
Oh, yeah. Predictably. I think you're pretty good on that one. I thought, yeah. So yeah, predictably. That's right. So if you predict something, you're telling the future. So I predict that this class will end within 2 hours' time. Hopefully it will.
Yeah, we can for example say
Yeah.
instead of predictably like likely, yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
example.
yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, likely. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty similar meanings, yes. That's pretty good.
How about retrenchment?
Um,
Retrench.
so it comes from this idea of trench,
Hmm.
believe it or not, trench. Yeah, your pronunciation is perfect. So if you're undergoing retrenchment, it means you're sort of changing your position, basically.
Ah,
You
it's
know, in wartime, if you dig a trench, it's because you want to hold this particular line where the enemy is coming. The enemy's coming, and you're holding. Everyone's standing in the trench, and you're fighting the people off. But if you have to retrench, it means you've moved back 100 yards or a mile or something. Let's say you're going to dig a new trench, or you're retrenching in another place, or you're undergoing retrenchment. Does that make sense? So you're changing your position.
okay,
So that's
changing the
sort of the
position.
origin, you could say. Yeah.
Okay.
So a trench is a hole in the ground where you might try to fight the enemy when they're attacking you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like a protection.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the soil sort of stops the attack, doesn't it? To agree, if you're in a hole, basically. Okay. So any that's it. So your
Uh,
pronunciation was basically perfect on that. So yeah, that's very good. I think it was anyway. So retrenchment. So anything
yeah,
else there?
yeah, and imperatives. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's how you say it, really. So, but you speed it up a little bit, and it becomes. Let's put those two or three words together. Well, those two words maybe. So, financial imperatives. So, imperatives.
Financial imperatives.
Yeah, that's basically pretty much it. I don't know how often you'll be using that word, but it's quite, I'd say, fairly rare. But if something's imperative, it's absolutely vital,
Uh,
or something that must be done. Oh, it's imperative that you lock the back door when you go on holiday. That I've worried you now. I've given you a big right. Oh, did I lock the back door? No, you probably
uh,
wouldn't. I'm sure your other guys would have done that.
imperative. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. You've got it. It's vital. That's the meaning of that one, basically.
Okay.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Yeah. Yeah. How about the pronunciation of Saudi Arabia's? Saudi Arabia's?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty
Yeah.
good. I would say so. Let's just read from Saudi. Let's read that last little half a line from there. Then, so I'll read it to you. So Saudi Arabia's extraordinary wealth took a hit. So Saudi Arabia's extraordinary wealth took a hit. Do you want to give it a go?
Saudi Arabia's extraordinary wealth took a hit.
That's it. Yeah, yeah, that's it. So that
It's
was
not.
also a bit. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I just would like, yeah, just break down. Wealth took a hit.
Hmm.
It's look like they managed it well. Yeah.
Ah, no, it's
No.
pretty much the sort of the opposite in a way,
Oh.
but it's a bit like oh, I do overtime every month, but this month I didn't, and my pay took a hit this month as a result. So if somebody takes a hit, it's a bit like war again. Everything seems to relate around war, strange, doesn't it? I see it from perhaps a man's point of view, maybe others don't. So if somebody takes a hit, it's a bad thing. Does that
It's
make sense?
yeah. Okay.
So it
It's
takes a hit, it takes a bad thing. So if my wallet takes a hit, it might be that I took everyone out to the restaurant and I paid the bill of £200 or £100, let's say. So
Yeah,
I had a
okay.
great time, and everyone said thank you, Tony, but my wallet took a big hit.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah.
the one thing you could say. And often when you say, often it is about money when you say took a hit. But yeah, it could be, yeah, yeah, that's probably how you would use it. Most of the time it's money. Anything else?
Mm, it's like short up. It's like increased, yeah.
What is, sorry? Yeah, I'm
Uh,
lost now.
Second paragraph, first
Yeah.
sentences. Now short up. It's increased, yeah.
Yes, yes, that's it, shot up. So
Short
you
up.
could say when the prices go up, you might say, God, the prices have
Um,
shot up. Yeah, they've gone up
mm,
suddenly, is what it
go,
means. Gone up suddenly. I'm too high normally. That's it.
Yeah, and Tony, I remember
Mhm.
probably you two classes ago you used shooting out. It's in some way it's from here, yeah.
You've lost me now.
Uh,
Say that again.
Shooting.
Shooting up.
No, probably you. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
when
Mm.
Julia comes and you ask her, "Are you shooting up a bit early today, or something like this?"
Oh,
It's connected, yeah, probably. Shut up, no,
shoot.
or
I don't remember that. From what you've just said, I'm assuming I hope I said
no.
showing up. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
probably you're showing.
I hope I didn't say shooting up a bit early. I might have said that. Anything's possible, to be honest. But I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I
Mm,
scrolled down a little bit. There we go.
yeah,
Uh,
then and so they
so showing up. So if you
shall
show up early, it means you've come early. That's what I think it
ah
means anyway.
so
It means you're
okay.
showing your face. You're showing your face or your body early, whatever. There's only a minute or two, I think. But okay. Oh, she was early. That's right. She was early because normally she's about 10 minutes late. That's right. She's completely late today. But there we go. So carry on, Ruslan. I keep interrupting you. Sorry.
Yeah, and revenue. Did I say it correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. I think you're pretty much there, really. So if you speed it up slightly from how you said it, I think. So revenue,
Revenue.
revenue. So these two words almost very often go together, not absolutely always, because revenue is the amount of money that's coming in, and spending is obviously the amount of money that's going out. But
Um,
often you talk about revenue when it's a business or possibly even a country, I guess. Maybe in this country it's a country, but so if it was a country, you might say tax revenue, you might say, I think, rather than just revenue if it was a country. And a business, say like Tesco's or something, might say revenue and spending possibly. So revenue. Do you want to try again? Those two or three words there. So revenue and spending.
Revenue and spending.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Anything else there?
In yeah
Yeah.
in flood.
Yeah. Ah, your last one. That's it. So influx. Influx.
Um,
Yeah.
in
So it's
floods.
basically pretty much means inflow, an inflow of money, or investment in this case, isn't it? The
Um,
inflow of money. When you say
in
influx, there might be an idea of slightly a sudden burst of it coming in, maybe, or something. Influx of money. Yeah. Okay.
mm,
Fluvia, I suppose. I think that's Latin. I think flux, isn't it? Doesn't matter.
yeah, okay.
About
Yeah, hyper expensive.
Yeah.
It's like cost a lot. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Yes, yes. This is, some people might say, oh, that's mega expensive. Well,
Yeah.
hyper goes beyond that. That's like another step on from mega. So mega's enormous amounts of very expensive, and hyper expensive is super massively expensive. And I don't know what goes beyond hyper. I don't know. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's sort of a superlative. It's a way of adding
Mm,
superlative. Anything else?
uh, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, a bit materialized
Hmm.
as well. It's like now materialized
Hmm.
material.
So it comes from the idea of material. So
Um,
when you say material, that sort of means, you could say it really means just like clothing or cloth. You say material, but in a physics sense, it means everything is made of material. The world is material. The material world means everything around us, all that's in reality. So I'm being sort of philosophical here, but that's really where it comes from. So if something materializes or material, you could say you're bringing it into reality. Something that didn't exist before, you're bringing it into reality if something is materializing. Do you ever watch Star Trek when they beam someone from the planet up to the spaceship? So it's science fiction, and they rematerialize them, or they can say, "I materialized on the ship." Does that make sense? So it doesn't really get use outside of philosophy or science fiction, I would say, really, or physics, perhaps. Material.
materialized.
So you
Yeah,
might have an idea. Oh, I've got this fantastical, wonderful idea, and I want to materialize it. I want to make it into reality. That's really what you're saying.
yeah,
Materialize.
yeah.
Make it into reality.
Into reality.
So
Okay.
how often do you say that in everyday life? We just don't, do we really? But
Yeah,
it's nice to know the idea, isn't it?
it's actually very rarely used. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a daily speech, materialized.
But I suppose you might say, "Oh, I didn't think this problem would ever materialize because it's so
Mm,
unlikely. You know, the tax man is checking my taxes. I never thought it would really happen. I never thought it would materialize." That's a way that it might get used in everyday speech. But even then, you just say happen. I never thought this
mm,
problem would happen, not materialize, but you might do, I suppose. So it's a bit
yeah.
of a,
Okay.
but what about this one here?
Oh, it's actually uh, calibrate. Calibrate.
Yeah. So
Calibrate.
if you put an E on the end of where I've highlighted it, that's calibrate. Calibrate.
Calibrate. It's like a measurement.
Exactly. If you're calibrating or measuring something, that's it. You could basically say measuring something. And if you're recalibrating or in recalibration, you're going back over it again a second time,
Ah,
really, or a third
do
time.
it again.
Yeah.
But in this meaning, it's actually
Mm.
about checking it again, or
Mm.
how?
Well, but there's a question mark at the end, so
Yeah,
it's asking a question, and I think
yeah.
really it's just throwing up. We don't know what's happening.
Ah,
I
yeah.
think that's what that sentence is saying. So when it says, "But is it a?" They're referring to everything that we've just read. So everything we've just read, it's adding, it's looking at that and saying, "Oh, is this one thing or is it something else?" So it's looking at those four odd paragraphs we just read, and it's trying to work out what they mean. So it's saying, is MBS, is he retreating on this massive building, which means if you're retreating, it means you're stopping, you could say. He's not going to build it at all. Or is it recalibration? So is he sort of checking out the details, changing it very slightly or just a little bit, or making some changes to it, or is he stopping it? So, but is it changing it slightly or is it stopping it? That's what he's saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay,
This
okay.
building he's been talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I thought that was really good. I liked how you kept on reading, although it was tricky, and you didn't. That was brilliant because it was so easy to trip over some of these words, and you just kept going at it, and I thought it was very good. I was very
Yeah.
impressed with
Thanks a lot.
it. That was very good. Yeah. So, any other questions, Michael or Ruslan at all? Of course. Okay. So let me just read that through just quickly. The bit that I haven't read that one now.
Yeah, okay.
So from the top then. So 4 years ago, from 2030, there has now been, perhaps predictably, a retrenchment. Part of that is down to the financial imperatives. So just stop a second. So retrenchment, you could say that sounds a little bit like recalibration, really. So so he's started on the project and there's been trouble or difficulties, and so he's looking at it again. That's what that one, retrenchment. He's digging again, digging a new trench, maybe further back from the front line or whatever. And it carries on. Part of that is down to financial imperatives. So when it says down to it, it's caused by the financial imperatives. Then it says, as a big fall in oil prices before the current war in the Middle East meant that even Saudi Arabia's extraordinary wealth took a hit. And Saudi Arabia is one of the wealthiest oil nations in the Middle East. One of the reasons is because to get their oil out of the ground, it only cost them something like $3 a barrel, roughly speaking, $3 a barrel. Whereas other countries are double, treble, or quadruple that amount, or even more, even 10 times that amount. I think that's one of the problems, say, with Iran. That Iran's oil is so expensive to get out of the ground compared to Saudi Arabia, where Saudi Arabia's is so cheap and Iran's is so expensive to get out of the oil, out of the ground. That's one of the problems at the moment, I think anyway. But that can't change, it won't change. So to carry on then. So even though those prices have now shot up because of the war, the uncertainty created by the conflict will continue to put constraints on Saudi revenue and spending. So with this little bit here, when they say constraints, constraint sort of says there'll be things stopping them from their normal, regular spending and income. So if someone puts constraints on you, they might say, well, I'm going to put some constraints on you. Perhaps you've broken the law or something. And the constraint might be that you have to be back home at 8 o'clock in the evening. And they might have a little tag around your leg to make sure you are back at home in the evening time. That might be a physical constraint. But this constraint here is to do with money, financial constraints.
Like a restriction, yeah.
Yeah, a
And
restriction. That's exactly it. A restriction. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'll read on from here then. So, and the influx of foreign investment in these hyper expensive visionary projects has never materialized to the degree on which the Saudis had been banking. So this last little bit here is saying that the Saudis believed or hoped that foreign people would invest money in this building too, but to the sorry, but the problem, I guess part of the problem is it's hyper expensive. So even if they did invest a certain amount of money, it was going to have to be huge amounts of money, I think, to make it happen, I guess. I'm reading between the lines, and I'm making certain guesses there. So let's scroll on then. So have you got time for another read through, Michael, at all?
Okay.
So this is Michael's go. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is Michael.
Okay. Do you fancy
From
reading this?
fan
Look. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
okay. From fantasy to realism. Some of the most striking projects are now being watered down, put on hold, or even abandoned. Several come under the once all-embracing umbrella of the 500 billion NEOM mega project. It it looks like the line which was meant to redefine the concept of a city as it stretched railroad straight across more than 100 miles, 161 kilometers of untaped, untaped, untaped land in the northwest of Saudi Arabia, looming taller than the Shah, is being turned into something considerably more prosaic.
Brilliant.
Um,
Not a lot to say. Anything you want to ask about there? I haven't got a great deal. Is it a bit confusing?
yeah, there are some uh,
Hmm. Oops.
uh, some of the most striking projects. Watered down, it's like
Yeah.
diluted, diluted,
Yes.
or
Yes.
become weaker.
Mm.
Uh,
So it goes back to the idea of retrenchment. So you've gone back 100 yards, you've dug a new trench in the ground, or that idea of recalibration.
uh,
That same idea. This is the third time they've mentioned this idea now, really, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. So watered
put
down,
on
diluted.
hold, put on hold. It's like stopped, right?
Yes. So we say put on hold, but it does sort of sound like you might
Pause.
restart it in a month or a year or something. Put on hold. Yeah.
It's like pause.
A pause. Yeah, that's closer. Yeah, not stopped, but pause.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Even abandon it is like stopped. That's
That's
stopped.
right. Whereas abandoned would be stopped, or sort of yeah, given up on. Really, if you abandon something, you sort of give up on it and walk away. Pretty much. That's it. So
Uh,
that's. I think when you read it out, the ed didn't sound quite right. So that's said as abandoned. Abandoned. I think.
abandoned.
Yeah, I think that word came out wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Anything else?
I don't understand about all embracing umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah. So if something's all embracing, so it's everything, absolutely
It's
everything
covered,
somehow.
covered. Maybe it's meaning that it's covering all the
Yes.
project.
Some sort of everything, yeah. And an umbrella covers everything, doesn't it? If it's raining, hopefully you
Yeah.
put up an umbrella to cover everything so you don't get wet. Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's about rain or protection as such. But so let me just read that line again because I've kind of missed the point of this. So several several come under the once all-embracing umbrella of the 500 million NEOM mega projects. Yeah, so I guess it's also referring back to the previous line, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah. So the NEOM project was all-embracing, so it covered everything, absolutely everything. Yeah, yeah, that's where it's like just covering everything. And when it says NEOM, I think that's the name of this sort of project or the well, it says project there, doesn't it? So, but I think it's it was in a sense. I think it was something like huge, huge building, super huge building, and it was called NEOM, or the project was called NEOM. And sometimes they just say NEOM, and it means the building, but it, I think the whole country could probably have lived in it. It was so big. And the other name for it, I think, was maybe I'm misunderstanding, But to my mind, NEOM and the line are the same thing. But I must be wrong because why would you have two names for exactly the same thing? I don't know. But my understanding was this building called the NEOM was basically so big it, and it was so straight, it was called the line. Wait, I wonder if there's a photo just below it here, actually. Yes, that is a photo of it there. Well, not a photo. This is a depiction of what it might have looked like. So this is sort of, let's say, half the country of Saudi Arabia you can see here. And it was so big, I think this is something like half a kilometer high. And if that's half a kilometer high, you can tell how long it is. It's many kilometers long. And that was essentially one building or one structure. Perhaps not literally one building, but let's say one structure. What does it say then? Oh, here we go. The line as it was imagined, and then it says NEOM in the bottom corner. So I don't quite know the difference between the two. So if you haven't heard of it, oh, and that's why it says from fantasy to realism. So it is almost a fantasy project, isn't it? Think about the size of that thing. It's almost the width of the country, one sort of structural building. So over to you, Michael. I keep interrupting you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm confusing about the
Yeah.
line and shard. Uh,
Oh,
shard, it's London.
yes. Okay. Let me just read that second paragraph then. I assume it's just comparing it, but I don't, let me just read it. So it looks like the line, which was meant to redefine the concept of a city as it stretched ramrod straight across more than 100 miles of untapped land in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. Looming taller than the Shard, it is being turned into something more considerably prosaic. So prosaic just means ordinary, boring, sort of normal, or more normal, they could have said, or more boring, possibly even. Yeah, so if it's looming, so taller, I think when you read it out, you didn't say taller, you said something slightly different, taller. So when something's looming, it means it's sort of looming over you. It's something to do with its size when something is looming. It's sort of shadowing you, it's worrying you in some way if it's looming. But normally, almost always, it's above you and it's looking down on you in some way or other. If something is looming, and the Shard is a building in London, so I guess they're saying looming taller than the Shard. So however tall the Shard is, it's not as tall as this thing, I guess. So let's scroll back further down. Maybe they've got some sort of another picture comparing the two things together. Oh, so area of NEOM projects. So maybe there was a whole series of projects called NEOM, I guess. And one of them was the line. That's my understanding. I didn't realize that until I saw this. And look at the size of it. It is really is almost as wide as the country, the whole country. Wow. Oh, look. So it would reach from London to Bristol pretty much, or Los Angeles to San Diego, if you're in London or Britain. Here we go. Yeah, so there we are. So the line was 500 meters tall, which is half a kilometer. Don't ask me in miles, I don't know. 200 meters wide, so it'd be taller than the Empire State Building by a little bit, and significantly taller than the Eiffel Tower, and taller than Big Ben, which is almost titchy in comparison. Absolutely titchy. So I thought it was going to have the Shard down here, but it doesn't have the Shard, does it? Doesn't matter though. So I've learned a little bit. I didn't realize any of these things. So there we go. So that's mega projects. There we go. Oh, that's that picture we were. So there we go. So does that make sense?
Yeah. Now,
The
yeah.
longest explanation ever. So we explain prosaic.
Yeah,
Yeah, go on.
yeah, yeah. Now I understand concept of this line. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
and
I
I
did.
think, and if I understand correctly, this line it was like a
Mm,
building. It's covered.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm.
it's like a big tube. Uh,
Um. I,
yeah, yeah,
it kind of like I don't really know exactly, but it would have been like a city, more like a city. That's it. I think it was more like a city, but in this weird shape. So I guess trains or whatever would go along it. I think also there was this theory that you would live here maybe. Maybe I'm wrong now, but I think and everything you needed would be within your area, or would be within easy access. Maybe on the train, I guess, which would have run down the middle, or the road which would run down the middle. So there'd be like a little community in each little area. So this was a city in effect, but in the shape of a line,
yeah. It's
more of a
and
city.
what
So I
I
don't know
what
how
I
many.
find
Yeah, go on,
what I
go on.
find in the Wikipedia, the city was
Ah,
based
yeah.
on two mirrored walls.
Oh, yeah.
If I
Two
understand
mirrored
correctly,
walls. Yeah, go on.
500 meters between which other buildings will be located.
Yeah.
Without cars,
Oh, yeah.
it will be uh,
Mm.
futuristic city without car, without only using green energy.
Ah.
And, uh,
Is there a train in there or something running down the middle of it, or two
yeah,
trains even?
and artificial intelligence
Oh,
will look
yeah.
to the people,
Well,
control.
look after the people. I see.
Yes, yes,
Keep the
yes,
temperature right and the water, yeah,
yes.
right amount of
It's like
water,
smart.
whatever.
It's like
Heat.
this a sort of smart house, like
Mm. What a smart city. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Uh, 9 million people will
Oh,
live
9 million.
there. Uh,
Only 9 million. Crumbs.
it's information from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we're reading is I'm not entirely sure. I think saying it's been cancelled. As my understanding, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Something was wrong.
It
So
looks
some
for
of it
me,
has been. Yeah, go on.
sorry guys, yeah, it looks for me a bit like unreal because
Mm,
uh, I don't know how people can survive without garden, without the plants, without the tree,
mm,
without vegetables. It's actually
mm,
there is no chance to grow it, and they needed to buy it, and
mm.
probably distribution is gonna be expensive, and I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah. One of the bits we read that there was awe and derision when they announced it. So awe was excitement and wonder, but the derision was people making fun of it. And so, yeah, there's definitely problems about this, and maybe that's why they're not going to do it. I think that's what they said. So, yeah, I think you made a good point, Ruslan. The
It's
other thing is, it's
actually
only 200 meters
yeah.
wide, which is still quite big. So why wouldn't there necessarily be trees in the middle? I know it looks like a big pink block here, but I assume it wouldn't be pink or this shape exactly. I assume there's effectively like houses and rooms and restaurants and
but
some sort of factory, all running on green electricity. Sorry, Michael. Yes, you were saying.
to be honest, the landscape in that country is
Mm,
a desert. It's not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
green trees and United.
Mm.
Uh,
There's a lot of desert here, is what
Arab
you're saying.
Emirates, yeah. So the same landscape. So I
Yeah.
think it makes sense for for rich people who would like to buy some properties in this futuristic
Mm.
town, and for tourists who it's like who would like to attend this place.
Well, I guess people would live there. It doesn't it'd be a crazy. Was it 9 million people? You said Ruslan, or someone said 9 million. So it
Yeah,
can't be a
yeah, yeah.
hotel, can it? I mean, but I think
For,
people, it's like a community. It's a city, I think, isn't it? Something like a.
yes, according to Wikipedia, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's 9 million, and
and
the average density
oh yeah,
2,060, uh,
but,
260,000 on square
mm,
kilometers. So it's the density of population.
not too much. I mean, higher than some places,
It's
I'm
it's
sure, but
it-
not a
it's
killer
it's
amount.
it's it's extremely high
Oh,
density
is it
because
high?
if compare with Manila, it's the most density
Mm.
city in the world. The
But
density
mm,
is 44,000, and in this city 260,000 to per square kilometers.
but I think the thing is here is that this is half a kilometer high. It's one of the tall. It would be, I think, that one of the tallest buildings in existence, if not the tallest building. So that is a very incredibly tall building, and I don't know how they. We're theorising about something. I guess they're not going to build anymore. So yeah, you raise a good point though. Yeah, you do raise it. Perhaps it is a bit too dense for people. I think. I'm thinking about the height of it, but yeah, you're right. Really, I think. So, yeah, that's interesting. Are there any more photos or pictures? So I've only got halfway through. Oh, so Saudi royalty now favors glass and steel over traditional materials. Oh, right, okay. So these are the traditional materials. It looks like a stone, maybe, and mud brick, perhaps. Can't really tell from that. Any more photos? Let's scroll down. Oh, so this is the present day ruler, and I think these are his predecessors. I think this is the one. I don't know which is which now. But so this is his father and grandfather, I guess. I don't know. Oh, let's look at the write up. So MBS has overseen huge changes in the kingdom. So yeah, hasn't he allowed ladies to drive cars, which is almost unbelievable when you consider he couldn't do that previously. Have you guys ever been to Saudi Arabia? I haven't been there.
No, I've never been.
Wow. I
Yeah.
can't even pronounce this.
Mm.
Al-Ula. Al-Ula, I think that's pronounced, but yeah, it looks incredible. So this looks like it's been carved out of rock. There's a big rock here, I guess, and they carved this piece out of it. I don't know how big that is. Another photo. I love pictures. That's one of my big weaknesses. Ah, this looks like a mock-up, doesn't it? Don't think this is real, is it? So Saudi Arabia has positioned itself as a magnet for sports computer-generated image. Yeah, it's not a real image, is it? So yeah, that's right. So don't they have a Grand Prix in Saudi Arabia? So they have car racing in Saudi Arabia, I think, don't they? Or do they not? Maybe. Anyone know? Guess this is a builder or an oil worker. So Saudi has been trying hard to shake its economic dependency on oil. So does that make sense, that sentence there? So Saudi has been trying hard to shake its economic dependency on oil. So it's
In my
usually
mind,
yeah.
try to change, try to find something which
Mm,
can also give them
yeah,
income only
that's it.
for
Yeah.
Sale, for sale.
Yes, rather than just oil. That's it. Yes, you've got it really. So maybe a few years back, people would have stuck the word off behind it there. So trying hard to shake off its economic dependency on oil. So yeah, so to try to stop its dependency on oil. That's what it's basically saying, isn't it? Right. So anything else you want to talk about or ask or on this article or about life in general? Want to talk about anything? We haven't got time to read the whole article. It looks very well worth going through, I think. From what I've read here, I think they're saying, but I might have misunderstood it, and I guess I'm putting things in that I've heard in the news over the last year or two. I think they're stopping building the line, or perhaps the whole of the line. Maybe little bits of it will be finished, maybe. But from reading this article, it sounds like there's other projects, like maybe this thing here, whatever this is, Trojena. I'd never heard of it. So maybe they're going to complete whatever that is, or maybe this Sindala, maybe that whatever something here they're going to build, maybe they're going to build that. So no, NOAM seems to be a whole series of projects, a few different things, and the line was perhaps the most expensive and most amazing and awesome one of all of those projects they were going to build. And maybe another one is this series of coastal resorts along here. And that would be a fantastic place to build it because the Red Sea is a marvelous place, meant to be, I should say. There's a lot of wonderful fauna and flora living in the water there, I should say. So just use the words fauna and flora then, and I think that's actually mistaken. So sometimes we say fauna and flora. So I put an L on the end. Often we say floral when we talk about plants or flowers maybe. But the word I used was flora. So I take the L off. So flora, what does that mean? Let's quick check. So flora. So I said fauna and flora. So you can refer to plants as flora, especially the plants growing in a particular area. Yeah, so you might say, yeah, that is it. So the flora in Dominica is very beautiful, maybe. So it's a bit of a general term. And the other one was fauna and flora. So fauna.
The same, the same meaning that flora, but about
Mhm. Yeah.
animals.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. So it's really all the living things, essentially. That's what basically it's saying, isn't it? I think something like that. So let's put the word "and" in there and look it up. Yeah. So in a general sense, I must have spelt it wrong.
Fauna. You.
Oh,
Are you maybe fauna? No.
um, yeah, it's completely wrong. Clear. Let me put it into my spelling is so laughable, isn't it? So, oh, last. Always click on the wrong thing. So I just put it into hopefully Bing. Yes, you're right. So it's taken me straight to a website that I accidentally clicked on, and it's got fauna and flora up there. So it's the animals and the plants. So it's animals and plants when you say fauna and flora. When you those two words together, you're sort of saying pretty much all life in this area, maybe, or on this island, or in this picture, whatever it's referring to. How did I spell fauna? Oh yeah, F-A. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yes, you're right. That's... Anything else you want to talk about? I'm not sure why I'm looking at this now, to be honest, but yeah, in a particular region,
Yeah,
population things.
it's interesting, really. It's interesting. I
Mm,
never thought about it.
mm,
We 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 usually speak about uh,
yeah.
the Saudi Arab, uh, about this region, Middle East,
Mm,
which reach uh, in oil, like richest countries. But I've never thought about future because
yeah.
in near future,
Mm.
the oil will be.
Another 50 years, 100 years maybe. Yeah.
Yes. And uh,
Mm,
what will then?
mm.
It's that how some country like Saudi Arabia try to uh, recalibrate. I don't know
Yeah.
they, their economy because they clearly understand that now they reach, but
Yeah.
what will happen when the price decrease
Mm.
and new technology like alternative energy
Yes,
uh,
yes. Yeah, yeah.
be
Renewable
popular.
energy. Yeah, exactly.
Now we are looking. Now I don't know, but I uh, I see it's. I don't know. Not me. I think whole world see it's like a richest region, and
Mm.
but
It
yeah,
is.
it's a problem. Yeah, it's a real problem because it's
And what's happening now is a real problem. Yes. I imagine in a year's time it will be resolved to some degree. Maybe not to everyone's liking, I'm sure. But
it's like coal.
coal, yeah, true. Very
One
true.
hundred years ago, yeah,
Mm,
centuries ago, it was a popular and British coal miners and Scotland and Wales.
mm,
Yes, but at some time, it's became uh, not profitable,
mm.
uh, and yeah, so
I suppose it's
and
very dirty coal, isn't it? It's very to deal with. It's very dirty.
yes,
You get black touching it in your hands. It makes
yeah,
black smoke. The buildings get very dirty, and
yes, but
and anything using it is only like 20% or 5% efficient. So you waste a lot of the energy. Yeah.
yes,
So yeah, carry on. What you're
at
saying.
some period of time, it was very popular. It was very
Mm,
profitable, and many towns built.
mm.
It was like built near
Yeah,
the coal mines. Yes, but
that's
after
right. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, and then this city
Mm. Whole
died.
communities lived on live had a good
Yes,
living from it. And I think
yes,
that's true from where you come from, isn't it? So,
yes,
and
and
definitely
some
true in Wales and the north of England. There's coal mines all over Britain, in different places.
yeah,
It's amazing how things change, isn't it, over the decades and centuries.
yes, and it's a good point that some countries try to rebuild
Mm.
their economy and uh,
Or rebuild, or
rebuild
recalibrate,
or,
of course. Yeah, yeah, that's the other.
or invest money to something new too, because now they have extra profit, extra money for oil. So
Was
it's really, yeah.
hmm. I was going to say about Norway. Isn't hasn't Norway done something very similar? Norway, they have a sovereign wealth fund, and so they have oil and gas. I think it's actually mainly gas, isn't it? I should say gas they have, and a lot of the money that generates wealth goes into projects. Not exactly the same as that we've been talking about with Saudi Arabia, but there's a sovereign wealth fund which is effectively storing up the wealth from all the gas, effectively. Not all of the money, of course, but a large number of it, a large part of it. So let's excuse me, a bit of a cough there. So if I say, I misspelled sovereign. I'm always misspelling things. So, wealth. Yeah, misspelled fund. Misspelled word sovereign, of course. I knew I would. So the Norges, I think that's pronounced Norge, or Norges Fund Investment Management. So this is yeah, there was even a YouTube channel, it seems, or at least a YouTube video. Well, so if you become wealthy, invest it in a fund or something. You become a millionaire. There you go. All right. So how sparsely populated Norway amassed. So amassed is gathered together, you might say, amassed $1.8 trillion. So that must be the value of the, or I guess it could be the value of the fund if they presumably know what it is. Yeah, so that's quite a lot of money, isn't it? I think the UK economy generates about $1 trillion a year. That makes any sense for in taxes, I should say, roughly speaking, the whole of the economy. Wow. Whereas America roughly spends about, roughly speaking, $1 trillion on just defense. Wow. So gives you a bit of an idea of that. So that's 1 year's worth of, what, 2 years, I guess, of American spending on defense in the mid 2020s. So what have you got to say about any of this, say, Rusland? I mean, you've been quiet, just been listening very patiently.
Yeah, it's actually a bit difficult topic to me to
Yeah.
have a good discuss here. But in general, I understood that
Mm.
in nowadays every country, not every, yeah, I will say every wants to be more independent in economic system, and this is one of the leader of country, yeah, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
now they are looking for another way to build their economic more stronger, and it's like to find some materials which can
Mm,
be
mm,
popular in now in the future. But to be honest, I didn't catch what kind and for what we can use these materials. And yeah, then I understood about the city shape. Then they want to build the city in shape like straight line,
yeah.
which wider is 200 meters, and there is no parks, there is no anything, and everything will be dependent on artificial intelligence, as Michael
Mm,
said. Yeah, and
mm,
I can't imagine it's actually
mm,
for the tourist just go there once in a year and spend there 2 weeks. It for me it looks okay, but to live there it's like a prison. You just know
mm,
your shop. After shop, probably you will work in your flat, and then you want
mm,
to spend. I don't know, for example. Yeah, I don't know what kind of
mm.
people are going to live there. It's gonna be like a multinational city, or it's just for
Yeah.
and for the. I don't know. It's actually,
Mm.
yeah, without trees and without lake, without
Yeah, well,
forest,
yeah, well,
I
you're
can't.
you're imagining no lakes. I don't know. See, I didn't read that. I didn't see that. If
But how it's
if
possible?
there's architects, if there's
Yeah,
architects,
yeah,
proper, fully qualified architects designing
yeah.
that, they would be putting in trees, natural things, and water, perhaps swimming pools. I don't know, maybe natural. But actually, when I looked at that photo, it was certain bits of it were right. Look at that there. That's right on the water, isn't it? And it doesn't look like it might look a bit like a prison. And I think this is the end of it. I think maybe this
Yeah,
is the
this is the
start.
end, but how
Well, I'm
about
guessing.
the
Yeah, I don't know.
middle?
Oh, that's right. In this photo, it does run along the edge here. It's not too far, and that's not too far. Maybe it's 100 miles away. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, and I think you hit on something. Though. I wonder now if maybe this was not a joke, but maybe it was an attention grabbing idea, and perhaps it was never going to really happen. Maybe this was just a PR gimmick. Maybe mentioned about PR. Sometimes things are just PR gimmicks. Have you heard of that phrase? And so it's just to get attention. Oh, whoops, what's it?
Mm,
Oh, blast.
but
And
of
so they're
what
never really
attention?
going to do it. It's just a kind of a trick. So have I spelled that? Oh, gimmick. So gimmick. I can't spell it. Oh, Garmin. No, what's that? What was that? Garnick Gaming. Let's try again. So a gimmick is a trick. Oh, there we go. There we go. So PR gimmick. Let's search that maybe. So it's basically just some sort of a trick. It's not real. Maybe somebody says they saw a UFO land in their back garden. They didn't, and they
Mm.
know they didn't. But it gets attention for them for a day or two, and all of a sudden they can sell their Instagram page or something. That sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I guess for this they
Mm.
need to have a strong reason just to make like this trick, and for what is actually the big questions for me. And yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. I don't. It'd be very difficult, very expensive to make this
And
this
yeah,
work.
and
I
Tommy,
don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible. I
yeah,
think it'd be
it's
difficult.
possible, but to
Yeah,
maintain
yeah.
it, it need money. And for example,
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
there need some animals, there need some
that's
birds,
true. Yeah.
and it's not like
Mm.
I don't know.
Maybe the reason it goes to the sea. Maybe they flood the bottom row, the bottom layer. Maybe there's sea all the way along there. There's dolphins in there,
Hmm.
and white whales, not white sharks. I don't know. I'm making it up, of course, but yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So go on.
I can see it's actually gonna be very close to the sea. Yeah, it's sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Well, at
actually
least some of it.
the
At least some of it is anyway. I mean, but over half it won't be anywhere near the sea. I think this is dead desert down here.
Yeah,
Really is
it's
desert.
that desert, yeah, and it is just only one good point that there is close
Mm.
to the seas. They can supply something easily to this place, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
but it's
Oh,
just
mm,
only one way to get out from it, for example, and
mm.
I don't
I, th-
know.
I think there is for a lot of not always. I think there's there is some roads around here along the edge along the country. I mean, they're
Oh,
building this. It looks. I guess there's something here. So, Magna coastal resorts. So this, I guess this is almost the same size as the line, isn't it? But I guess this is holiday resorts, I suppose, or maybe. I wonder if maybe like Trump. Trump had this idea about Gaza that he and his guys should rebuild Gaza as a big holiday resort or something. Maybe this is something vaguely similar. But this predates Trump's vision of Gaza. So Gaza has been almost completely destroyed by the war, which is still ongoing in with Israel and sort of
Yeah.
Gaza and Lebanon and Iran. So what Trump has said is, oh, let's rebuild Gaza in our own image. Let's build it as a massive kind of holiday resort almost, with lovely hotels, wonderful, everything wonderful there, like a new modern city. But he's very largely seems to forget the people who live there now, which is the big problem, I think.
Sorry, what did you say? That last one?
With the project, supposed
Yeah.
project that Trump has come up with Gaza to
Okay.
rebuild it, his project seems to totally ignore the people who actually live there
Mm,
currently. There's people living
okay.
there right now in the mess.
They don't want to have new changes, yeah, from Trump.
I don't think they even know about it.
Ah,
I don't think they even know about it, at least half of them. And if they heard about that, I don't think they'd be allowed to stay in it, to be honest. I don't know what the plan is, but I can't see them being allowed to stay there. Or if they are allowed to stay there, they're allowed to stay there as workers, as servants, cleaning the place or something. But that's me taking a very negative view of it, so I might be completely wrong. Uh, but there do seem to be these other projects like this Trojena. I've not heard of this Trojena and Sindala. Sindala might be very beautiful down here, I guess, on the coast.
yeah.
And there's something at the bottom, Oxygen, Oxygen. I don't know. Oh, so there's the sizes there. So 25 kilometers. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Actually, I guess Dubai is not so far from Saudi Arabians. Yeah, it's probably like a nearest country, like nearby it. Yeah, I guess so.
Dubai.
Nearby.
So this is Saudi. I think it's off the page. We can't go any further over.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
is
this
there's a map
country.
here.
Yeah,
So it's Dubai.
yeah, Dubai.
So it's vaguely about here somewhere. My cursor
Yeah,
is
yeah.
on this smaller map here.
Yeah, and I want to say when I
Mm,
went to Dubai 2 years ago, yeah, it's actually very modern city, and I know
yeah.
that
Mm,
there was a desert as well, and they built, yeah, very
mm,
beautiful and very developed city at the moment, and
mm,
they are planning to build there something else as well, and there is a big. Airplane, uh, w-
airport. Yeah.
airport, yeah, the biggest
Mm.
probably.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
huge, isn't it? Yeah, I think I've been through the airport, but not got off there really. So you have a week there in Dubai? Did you say or?
yeah, I spent there probably 9 days. Yeah,
Oh,
9.